Yes, welcome people, welcome. This is CC Sports Lab. Welcome to CC Sports Lab. I'm your OCC. Yeah, man, I know say over there, so right now I come discuss a riveting topic. Um, Reggae Boys as per usual, people. So remember to like the stream, share the content. If you like, leave a comment. You can correspond or speak with me in the comment section as well. So right now, as you all know, the topic of the discussion is are the Reggae Boys safe and remittances in terms of equating power, and then we have potential recruits in terms of like where do you think the Reggae Boys need to, you know, reinforce, or which part of the team do you think need to reinforce? So first we are touch on in terms of are the Reggae Boys safe. So as I said before, people, as you come in, you can just like up the stream and remember to like, share, subscribe, leave a notification in the comment section. Yeah man, but you don't know, as I say, we're here and we are doing thing. So people, we just I do some touching up and yeah, I make sure everything right. Because people, in terms of the Reggae Boys and are the Reggae Boys safe, right? I try to ensure say yo, in terms of the games that we would have watched recently. Reggae Boys versus St. Vincent and the Grenadines. We all know how those games went. And the first game, we knew drew 1-1. So the Jamaicans would have went down 1-0 early in the game, and then they would have equalized through a penalty that was won by Warner Brown that came on. And Leon Bailey would have slotted home that penalty. Right? So it was a sloppy display. I think a lot of persons never appreciated it. So it's almost as if they needed to give a better account of themselves when they came back home. So when the Reggae Boys came back home, I think when they came back home, I think the game looked very different in terms of how they were playing, in terms of how they were passing the ball and even trying to break through the lines. I think in terms of when people watch the Reggae Boys, they're not just looking at the personnel, but looking at for the style of play, like how the team possess the ball, how they are able to pass through the lines, how they are able to play around the press and through the press. And I think that's one of the major reasons as to why a lot of people are not fond of the style of play so far. But the question that we present ourselves with is, are the Reggae Boys safe? And what I mean by that in terms of saying, are the Reggae Boys safe? It comes down to going into the World Cup qualifying campaign. We know that the next window is June the 2nd to the 10th. And then we know that there is talks about a Unity Cup that is coming up. And the last time the Unity Cup was played was in 2004. As in the last time I know Jamaica participated. We can look up that right now and we look at it. Unity Cup in terms of the Reggae Boys. And their performance. And we will just show you the London Unity Cup. I mean, I don't think we don't know say Wikipedia normally isn't really the best place for information, but I'm going to show Wikipedia in terms of showing what I'm talking about. So I don't know if you're seeing my screen now, guys. No, but I'm not saying Wikipedia is a source, a real source, as in what you would want to use as a source. But this on Wikipedia, they were showing the Unity Cup. And in 2004, Jamaica played a total of 3 games, right? No, 2 games. The first game they played against Nigeria, lost 2-0. The second game they played against Republic of the Ireland, and the last 1-0. So in terms of in terms of playing in that tournament, the familiarity would have been in 2004, and I think it's similarly how they're trying to go about it. So I think with the World Cup qualifying campaign coming up in terms of the 2nd of June, the 7th of June, sorry, and 10th of June, where Jamaica plays British Virgin Islands, and then the Jamaicans play. Let me tell you again. That we play British Virgin Island on the 7th. So I'm going to search for that and show you guys. So our World Cup qualifying campaign so far, because I want to ensure that I'm giving you all the information that are privy, and we're not just putting up everything. So right now, as you see on the screen, the Reggae Boyz, when I look at more matches, you can tell me if you're seeing the 7th we play the British Virgin Islands, and the 10th we come back home to play Guatemala, right? So on the 7th that we play at Schema. Welcome to the stream, Schema. So
Welcome.
I'm saying on the
Respect.
7th we play the British Virgin Islands, and on the 10th we play Guatemala. And before that, people they want, the Unity Cup will come before that. I'm assuming, this is just my assumption, that it is going to be held probably between the May the 29th and somewhere between June the 2nd, because June the 2nd the international FIFA window opens, and I think in May all of the leagues are pretty much over in May, decided. So the Liverpool fans will know if them win the trophy in a May. We will know who win the Champions League in a May. We will know who win everything in May. In May, all of the bantering start until the next season comes up. So with this in mind, I think going into that fixture and looking at the players that I think Jamaica want to try and recruit and put in the team. Because I hear a lot of people, Kimo, suggesting that Jamaica doesn't need any new player. But I think the people who are saying Jamaica doesn't need any new player don't have a problem when it is new player coming from the JPL, because if we never needed a new player, how would Warner Brown would have been a part of the team and be able to come and score that spectacular goal and show himself to say, yo, I want to be a part of this team going forward, right? So he would have been a new addition, because he just recently burst on the scene in terms of his first one. He played 1.5 season where I think in a JPL that he scored about 4 goals or so. And now
Mm-hmm.
he has come back to the JPL because he went away to Europe to a team named Enes Amura, and he came back in the JPL because he was playing for Tivoli first. But now he's at Arnett Garden, and he scored. I think he has 19 goals now in the league in 27 appearances. And I think that has been the highest return since for a while for a Jamaica Premier League player, especially given his goal scoring ratio. 19 in 27. Let me give you that 19 in 27 is what? 19 divided by 27. So that's 0.7. The ratio of 0.7 is scoring at a rate of 0.7 in the Jamaica Premier League. So, I mean, if we were to say Jamaica doesn't need any new player, then it's pretty much to say that a player like Warner Brown would have not gotten an opportunity. So, don't you think that is fair enough to say?
Yeah, it's fair enough. It's fair enough to say because even whether it's local or not, as long as the player, when they get the opportunity, they take it with both hands and capitalize. Then of course there's always room for improvement. But when you're going to say that the team don't need. I think this team actually need about 8 players right now because you're not only talking about players on the field, the starting 11. You need depth on the bench also, and I don't think we have that. We don't have people off the bench that we can say will come on and impact the game. And we're always talking about we need to stop recruiting or stop this or stop that. Remember, injury also play a vital role in sports. You understand? What about what if 3, 4, 5 of our important players injure coincidentally? What are we going to do? We have to look at it on that perspective as well. You get what I say? Yeah, we have to look on it like that too. We can't be saying that, oh, we don't need or we don't want. We can have players being injured, important players. Look at Arsenal this season. They're important players injured at the time that when they need them the most at the back end. Now they're gonna play Real Madrid, so we can end up in the same position. What if Liam Bailey, Ethan Pinnock, Demari Gray, and Isaac Hayden get injured? What are we going to do? We're gonna force some players in the team that is not competent, that can't do the job.
That's true. All right. That's
While
true.
we should be while we have them, we should be looking at their age factor and looking for their replacement, so we don't end up
Precisely.
in these predicaments.
All right, look on this, Kimo. I just do some big up T Dub Scott. Your comment is on the screen. What was the makeup of the team? What was it, an amalgamation of new British players trying to make the team? So I'm going to give you the makeup of the team. Where the Nigeria game, Nigeria played Jamaica. If you're not a something the subscriber yet, you can subscribe to the channel if you like the content. You can share it also with other people. So you ask the makeup of the team. So I'm going to share the makeup of the team right now. I'm sharing my screen. Yeah, so I'm going to share the makeup of the team, people. So this was the makeup of the team that played that game against Nigeria. So the Nigerian lineup. This is the Nigerian lineup we have.
Mm-hmm.
These players are. Tell me, you seen it, Kimo?
Uh,
So the
Nigeria.
T-Dab Scott, this is the makeup of the Nigerian team. But I want to give you
No,
the Jamaican team.
this is the present team.
No, man. I was talking about the Unity Cup in 2004 that Jamaica would have played in. So he was
That
asking.
game ended a draw, right? I think.
No, man, we lost both games. We lost this one 2-0. So this is the makeup of the team. You have Kevin Lisby. I think Kevin Lisby at the time would have been playing for. He would have. All right. So in total, he would have been playing for Charlton Athletic, as you can see, guys. He would have been playing for Charlton Athletic, right? Kevin Lisby would have played for Charlton Athletic. Claude Davis. So Claude Davis at the time would have been representing Preston Norton.
Mm-hmm.
We also have Ian Pepe Goodison. I think at the time Pepe would have been representing Tranmere Rovers. So Tranmere Rovers would have been Ian Pepe Goodison's team. We're looking at the goalkeeper. Donovan Ricketts would have been the goalkeeper in that game. At the time, Donovan Ricketts was playing for Bradford City. So far, all of these players are playing in England. Right? So far,
Mm-hmm.
all of these players would have been playing in England at the time. Ricardo Bibi Gardner, we know, famous Bolton Wanderers. We don't even have to look up that one. Richard Langley, attacking midfielder, would have been playing for Queen's Park Rangers, and I think he went to Cardiff City. I think he would have been playing for Cardiff City at the time when we played that game. England again. That player would have been playing for England again, right? So in England, sorry, Micah Hyde, a central midfielder, would have played 17 games for Jamaica. He would have been playing for Burnley FC at the time. England again. Why, people? Some here people are talking about the Reggae Boyz team now. And I said the Reggae Boyz team now could have beat certain teams from past. So far, Kimo, you feel like the Reggae Boyz team we have now can beat this aside. So then you have Jeremy and Johnson. We know Jeremy and Teddy Johnson, So Jeremy and Teddy Johnson at the time, people, Teddy was playing for Oldham Athletic, England. I think Teddy came back and played for Tivoli, went back overseas. But he would have been playing for Oldham Athletic. Teddy Johnson would have been a player that came from the Jamaica Premier League. And I think he's the first player to come from Jamaica Premier League straight to. So you're saying that you want to know if these players are regulars or trials? No, a lot of these players were brought into the team. It's not the reason. Nobody's when you come and play for the national team. It's not a trial. It's not a trial, Mr. Scott. It's not a trial. I'm telling you where the players were playing. Marlon King came in. Marlon King was a part of the team as well. So it wasn't necessarily saying that it was a trial. And I think that was the year when Marlon King just came in the team. So it's not about just giving you the name. So let me tell you. In 2004, Marlon King came into the Jamaica national team, Mr. Scott. So in 2004, that Unity Cup, I presume, would have bred a player like a Marlon King, because that was the first year that he came and played for Jamaica. So he would have came and played for Jamaica, and he would have been playing at, I think, Nottingham Forest and Leeds during that period of time. I think Nottingham Forest or Leeds during that period of time. So if you want to say if you want to say if you want to if them are regular trials at the time, as I point out to you up right here, you see the season 2004 he played 06, 08, 9, 12, 13. So 2004 when they had the Unity Cup, that was the year Marlon King would have come in the team. Garfield Reed, the left back. 2004 also was the year when he came into the team, right? And this player would have been playing locally. So this player would have been playing for Rivali, and he would have been playing locally. So at the time, 2004 was his breakthrough year for in terms of the team. So T-Dab Scott, the link is in the comment section. You're asking me if they were regulars or they were trialists. Trialists in terms of what? Big up yourself, Crystal, the Talawa TV. So it's not about if you want to say if they were regulars or trialists. They came in 2004 and they played other games afterwards. So them not being selected after that, I couldn't tell you why a Garfield Reed wasn't selected after 2006. We could always look at the information to assess why he wasn't selected after that. So he played 9 games in 2004, 4 games in 2005, and 8 games in 2006. So he played 21 matches for Jamaica. Or he had 21 matches where he started 4. So in terms of, they didn't show FIFA and everything. So, I mean, and then you have Fabian Davis as well. So Fabian Davis would have represented Jamaica since 1995. That would have been his year of debut. And Fabian Davis was playing locally for Tivoli Gardens. So, all right, so what I was saying to you, T-Dab Scott, is that in terms of the team makeup at the time, it would be a lot of new players coming in. And I presume that's the same thing that is going to be happening with this current Unity Cup that they are trying to go and play some games. You might see a few new faces in the team. I hope that's what they're doing, because otherwise, I know it can be for gelling of players, but I think they're in the left back and right back here, especially, and in the midfield and in the striker department. There's some players that I think the team needs to add some players, at least 6 players, in my opinion. Kimo said 8. So if you're questioning if the team at the time was an experimental team, then I think at the time they would have brought in a couple new faces. And in bringing in a couple new faces, I think a lot of those players would have done themselves justice in coming and play for Jamaica. We never qualified for another World Cup up until this day, but I mean, there were other things at foot in terms of politics and other things, and I wouldn't want to discuss and saying why the team didn't qualify or why certain things never worked out. But as you can see, it's a list of good players. I think I never realized until looking at the list right now, Crystal and Kimo, that 90% of the players were playing in England at the time. And these were players that were some developed over in England and some were developed locally. So what's your take on that, Crystal?
Do you know what? I will not. Good evening, by the way, guys. Good evening, CC. Good evening, Kimo, and big up to the guys in the comment section. So I clicked onto your channel and then I went downstairs to make a cup of tea, and I came back and I missed the first bit of what you were saying. So I won't even lie to you. So if you could give me like a summary, that would help, so I can like answer your question, please.
All right. So the summary is that commit. So for example, we're touching on if the Reggae Boys are safe going into the World Cup qualifying campaign. So in terms of we would have participated in the Unity Cup before. I think it was a
Yeah.
Tri-Nation series with Ireland, Republic of Ireland, and Nigeria. So we were looking at the makeup of the team and saying that in terms of this upcoming window, where would they really put the Unity Cup fixtures, given that the window is going to be open June the 2nd to the 10th, and you would likely want to reserve that period for the upcoming World Cup qualifying against British Virgin Islands on the 7th, and then coming back home to play against Guatemala on the 10th.
Yeah.
But then, in terms of our last participation that I'm aware of in the Unity Cup would have been 2004, and the makeup of the team at the time. At the time, you had the likes of Marlon King coming into the team, and you had several other players. You had Micah Hyde, all of those guys, right? So Micah Hyde would have come and played for Jamaica from, I think, 2001. His last year that he played for Jamaica was 2004. Richard Langley would have come from 2002, and he would have been a part of the 2004 squad. So there was a couple new faces, but there was also a couple repeated faces. So I'm saying the same thing goes for this campaign, where you think that we are weak in certain areas of the pitch. And in my opinion, you would like to get some players, if not try to get them in this Unity Cup, and then gel them in the team to have them for the upcoming World Cup qualification campaign and the subsequent Gold Cup.
Okay, yeah, I understand you. I think yeah, it would be great to try and use the window to see what depth we have, because I think that's something that is perhaps questionable at the moment. The maybe, you know, there's definitely still some work to be done pertaining to the starting 11 for the men's team. The bench itself for said team still needs to be worked on. But yeah, I think I'm in favor of if we could combine two different areas, that would be great. So if we could combine having a few of the regular players there, we've given them limited minutes, because the last thing you really want to do is to get a unfortunate or untimely injury. Again, with the World Cup qualifiers on the horizon, and also going into the Gold Cups as well. So limited number of minutes to certain players where possible. But I think, yeah, it would be a good idea to see if we could test our squad depth. They must have a plan, you know, unless they've just said yes to the opportunity without giving it any great thought. But I think it's more than likely to be a combination of the two, because I think we do have to take into consideration that the respective season for the majority of our players is coming to an end, with, you know, players mainly playing in Europe, for example, so, you know, across like the English division and so on. So I think with the respective campaigns coming to an end, naturally it's only fair for the players to spend some time with their families, to go and do, you know, whatever it is they need to do in terms of unwinding, clearing their minds before resuming football. Because after they do what they need to do for their respective countries, they're going to be going back to their clubs, catching up with preseason wherever their club is currently at. So I think for me, the idea of having both some senior players and some potential new recruits sounds like a more feasible prospect. But obviously, I have no idea what the gaffer wants to do. But I'm not expecting to see a fully strengthened Reggae Boyz team, because it's probably being far-fetched, again, with the World Cup qualifier and also the Gold Cup games on the horizon.
All right, so yeah, I understand. I mean, you make a very good point, Crystal, in terms of you're not expecting to see the full complement, and you know, with, as I say, the World Cup qualification campaign, and the Gold Cup on the horizon, and players just needing to get their rest, especially the fact that the long season would have just commenced, as in sorry, commence has been beginning, so it would have just ended. So I mean, you can understand where you're coming from. But in terms
Yeah.
of, like, for me, it it comes down to the players that you would are the positions that you think. Um, which position, in your opinion, do you think we need to fill the gap with? Like from the last two games that you've watched, or the last couple of games that you've watched, the Reggae Boys.
To be honest with you, I think my observation is that the whole thing needs to be worked and tweaked. I don't think there's any area on the pitch where we can say confidently that is solidified, that is done and dusted, and we can look elsewhere. I think it's the entire starting 11. I think we can all say between ourselves that between the sticks, it's always going to be Andre Blake or a captain. There's no one there to remove him from between the sticks. But as I've always said, your goalkeeper is as good as your defense. So I think, again, based on what I have seen, we do need to work on our defense, still need to solidify whatever is going on with our midfield and attack. For me, still a problem. Excited to see Warner Brown, though. I think Warner Brown brings forth some good, healthy competition, especially where Shamar Nicholson is concerned. So I guess that's one positive for myself to look at. I don't know how you look at it or how Timo looks at it, but having Warner Brown in the squad, I think I'm not saying that Shamar Nicholson is too relaxed or has become complacent, but I think with the performance that we're seeing of Warner Brown from the last international window, which closed recently, as well as the numbers that he's tallying up in the Jamaica Premier League, I think it's safe to say that he's given Shamar Nicholson something to ponder over pertaining to when we go back into camp and how he should be performing and what we expect from him. So I think that, again, I can't select a particular area that needs to be prioritized. I just think the whole squad the whole starting 11 needs to be addressed. There's not one area there for me that I'm like, yeah, address this one more. Everything needs to be addressed.
All right, no problem. I like that view. I like that view. So, Kimo, Mr. Scott down in the comment section, I take you on them. One day you're coming with opinion, I just come to show your face on the camera. So, we want to know what is your opinion in terms of you. I know you said 8 players, so I mean you can talk about the department, the areas on the pitch
for
where
me,
you think we need 6.
so for me personally, if it was one for me, the only position thus far seems to be okay for the Reggae Boys is the goalkeeping area, and that is obvious. So even if Blakey is not there, um, Wait seemed to be competent. Showed it. He showed that in the Copa America last year. The other position, though, I think each position for the starting lineup, if we have all of our top players fit, I think they still need competition. They need competition. They need players on the bench that can compete and actually take their place. And we don't have the youngest of players also representing our national team. You have to remember that.
Hold on. I apologize, Mrs. Scott. I apologize profusely. Go ahead, Kio.
CC Sports Lab. Hey, Wonyi, big up the lady in the comment section. It's nice to have another woman now.
I said yes. Big up, Mrs. Scott. Like, thank you for being here.
CC Sports.
I don't know. Oh dear me, I was just suggesting. So, Mrs. Scott, I appreciate you for coming on, taking the time out to come on our stream and engage in the conversation. You have been the most engaging person in the comment section, and I love that. So you say you agree with your take, blue shirt of my name. Go Kimo Hunter. Mrs. Scott agrees with you.
I wish Mrs. Scott could send a voice note and state her claim. However, as I was saying, the each position in the starting 11, because we have players with age, we have players like 29, 30, 31 right now. Not saying age is a factor based on all the other teams, They're trying to limit the average age of their national team or even their clubs. So going forward, maybe the age can work for the Gold Cup or maybe the World Cup next year. But if we're planning ahead, I think it's best to have competent players coming in also or looking to recruit them so that if there's any injuries by now or next year, we don't have to be worrying about who is going to replace who or if the team can compete. Because listen, where we are dealing with CONCACAF right now, if we qualify for the World Cup, we're dealing with the best in Europe and the best in Copa America, in South America. You understand? So we have to be thinking about those other factors and even from Africa as well. But if when you qualify for the World Cup, we go up against Algeria or a Morocco. We go to the World Cup. We have Croatia in our group, Spain in our group. We can't be sitting here now, thinking that is not possible, We want to go to the World Cup. What about going to the World Cup and we have a Brazil in our group or Argentina? So we have to be thinking when we're recruiting now, we have to be recruiting for that also and not just for the games in the second round of the World Cup qualifiers and the third round of the World Cup qualifiers. And also, whenever we qualify, and I'm going to say if no, I'm not going to talk on the basis of fun. If we qualify for the World Cup, next year there won't be many games, many international window games until after the World Cup. We're gonna have the Nations League again September next year. But before
Yeah,
that, so we're gonna have windows for friendly though. We're gonna have windows for friendly. So maybe we're gonna get quality friendly at home. We might see us hosting maybe say we might be hosting a Ghana at the National Stadium, a Cameroon at the National Stadium. We just might see us hosting Japan, South Korea at the National Stadium. We just might see us hosting a Norway, Sweden. Anything is possible when you qualify for the World Cup because they're seeing you now as that team. Also, we can go to other countries for those friendly as well. So we have to be thinking outside of the box, thinking on the other matters that is at hand whenever you qualify or where you want to be, not just looking at on these players that we have. What about injuries? We always talk as if injuries don't play a vital role in football. We don't want to end up like my team, Arsenal, having 6 and 5 key players out, and the league is now running away from us. If we had went into the transfer window and get some quality players, maybe we would be chasing the league by maybe 3 or 4 or leading the league.
yeah. As I said, on that point, I think Mrs. Scott, because she come out to the whip tonight, planning
Yeah,
for
she's
what
sleeping.
future. JFF only look at the next big tournament that can bring revenue. They don't look at advancing beyond the first round. So, Mrs. Scott, me see what I go on, man. You come out to the whip. Big up yourself in the mall and just remember to hit that like button when you're forwarding on the stream. So, big up yourself. Mrs. Scott
I went
again. Hold on. We will not get quality friendlies at home. No money is
Big
made
up,
that way.
Marlon. Big up.
JFF prefers other countries taking the risk and just take the fixed appearance fee. Yeah, go ahead, Krista.
Oh no, I was saying big up to Owen. I think he asked if I'm live. So no, I'm not live on my channel. Tonight is about showing CC some support. So it's not connected to my stream. But I think I'm gonna do one tomorrow. I'm gonna do a live stream tomorrow.
Yeah, we are in a marathon. We are piggyback, Crystal. Today for me, tomorrow for you, next day for me, you know?
Teamwork make the dream work.
Yeah.
This is a ro-
And I appreciate
this is a streaming round robin where support.
yes, streaming.
Screaming round robin, I love it.
Yo, streaming round robin. You look like say that we have to go get we have to go give like one of our session like we give it as a streaming round robin where we
It
discuss.
really
I think we have to go do that in a Crystal.
We have to create a style, man. Create our own
Yeah,
thing.
stream the stream round robin, YouTube round robins.
I love that.
But
Emo,
A
that's
yeah,
nice.
Ufa
man, I
night.
love it.
Say Ufa night tonight.
Yeah,
Support.
overnight tonight I feel me draw.
Yeah, yeah, like a partner.
Yeah, so
You know,
that means that every other dance have a lock off, you know. Hey,
yeah,
Krista,
I like that. That's a
all of
great.
that dance have a lock off, you know.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, so I mean, you guys both gave quotient, how do you call it, quotient analysis in terms of the Reggae Boys and where we are at in terms of wanting new players. I think Mrs. Scott would have given some great insight in the comment section as well. Marlon is in the comment section as well. So all of them, Mrs. Scott says, send your money. You, but you know, we're going to bust around Robin on the YouTube, man. And we, as you say, it come first now. You hear what? Chemo is the one. So people now, what are going to steal it now. So Chemo is the one that originates from, you know, endorsed by Talawa TV, endorsed by CC Sports Lab.
I'm fully
So
backing it.
we
Fully
don't want to
backing.
hear anybody else talk about YouTube Brown Robin. We already know already. Say them are going to be in the knockoff version.
Listen, you need to, Kim, I need to jump on your channel. Like, you need to do a stream so I can jump on your channel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Want to start do some consistent content over my thing. Cricket and football are my thing.
Yeah, man, we're there already, man. You know, Kimo, you know already, say we're ready and waiting, man. So as I drop the thing now, we are there.
Yo, the last time I tried stream over my channel, you know, when the live turn on, when I look on the screen, I don't know one thing what to say. When we stop, like, I run out of lyrics. For just in it.
It's a look off dance.
Me I
But
say,
anyway, it will come still. Man.
me I say, how them man I do it? Like my last, but if me I talk for other people platform, I have maybe true me just compose and me know say, me know what me have to say. But maybe I
It's a
mean
get
like me I
comfort from.
overthink it.
Yeah.
But
But for me, all right. So
over
for
time.
me, yeah, for me though, in terms of the makeup of the team, I think for me there's key areas that I would like to see some form of improvement coming in. And when in the national team, people have to understand say it's kind of unlimited in certain things. They want to build chemistry though, where when it's coming up onto a tournament, you kind of not really change a lot in the team. But for me, there's areas, for example, I think in the right back area, in the left back area, I think people would have mentioned the likes of Adujan Sterling already. The likes of I think it's Rico Henry, if I'm not wrong, is his name. The likes of Mali Madasil in terms of the forward area. I think when I look at the coach in his last press conference, say we are not we don't have a depth of quality in terms of forward players. So I mean, if Madasil is playing in League One, I think you have Kaim Dixon, who would have come from Jamaica locally, went up there in to a League One team, currently thriving in the Charlton U21 system, and we have selected him on several occasions. And I think Madasil is in that League One as well. Would have appeared, I think, of 31 appearances and 11 goals and 8 assists. This is just from memory I'm speaking, but I mean, we can verify it and show it. So, Owen, no man, what I'm saying to you that 2 years ago, I don't think Madasil was ready to be in the national team. 2 years ago. But I think right now he's ready in terms of if you're looking at players in the League One coming into play for Jamaica and the amount of appearances that he would have made. So for me, my opinion is fluent in terms of your performances, Crystal, Talawa, and people in the chat. In terms of your performances, once you're performing for me and you're a Jamaican and you're eligible, I don't see no reason as to why you should not be considered for a selection. I am not the coach, you know. So I don't think the coach will have his players that he likes. But for me, when I'm watching the football, if you're performing and you reach a position where you see you deserve to be called up to the team, and when we look at other players that are playing in the same league that you're playing and possibly not getting the opportunities that you are getting, then I think it's just fair that you should be called up. So in terms of me, if I would call up a Kaim Dixon or a Malik Madasil right now, I would choose a Malik Madasil just on the sole basis of he's played far more games in the senior setup of the League One, and he's scored a couple of goals as well as created a plethora of opportunities. So your mic was open, Crystal. You wanted to say something?
I was saying that I agree with you, but it could potentially, like, I think it depends on Because from what I understand, it seems as if across the Jamaica football, so men's and women's team, it sounds if there isn't no written policy outlining what warrants a player to a call up. I think we can probably all agree here that it should be based off merit, and the merit should be what you're doing with your club competitively. However, I think we are in a position where we can flex our muscles, but to an extent. Like, I'm all in favor with your idea, but I think currently we probably still have to be a little bit more realistic and people potentially do things differently until we've reached a certain level. So to say that, and this is not me arguing against you, by the way. I think if we went with the idea of calling players up to the national team strictly based off playing merit, then we might find ourselves in an unfortunate position when, let's say, the MLS is out of season, because the MLS and the rest of the, like, let's say Europe, they don't align, do they, in terms of being played at the very same time. They go on breaks at different time, don't they?
Yeah, I think the MLS is between March to November, and then it goes on a break between December and February, I think. Yeah.
So there will come a time where a few of the players in the MLS are not playing competitive football, or they're not up to a, let's say, match level or match fitness, whatever you want to phrase it as, because of the lack of competitive football not being played at their clubs, respectively, completely out of their control. So I think that's something that we have to consider with regards to how players should be called up. And the biggest one for me is that you can't avoid favoritism. There's always going to be favoritism. Players are just going to be called up even when they don't deserve to be called up. And it has nothing to do with subjectivity. It's just the nature of football. The game is the game. Coach is going to have his favorite players, and they will undoubtedly be called up if and when. So I'm with you, but I don't think that we're at that point just yet. Just because of a few of the reasons that I've outlined. I don't know what you make of what I've said.
Yeah, in terms of what you have said, I take that on board, and I know, like as I said, we have players that are playing in different leagues that doesn't necessarily align to the same the European calendar, where the European calendar is August to May, so it wouldn't necessarily align. So some of the times we will have players that are not playing competitively, but I think we could craft they could craft a policy surrounding that in terms of Crystal, in terms of knowing that, all right, here we have certain players who play in the USL or the MLS, and in terms of how we select those players and how we are selecting the team, we have to understand that they might not be playing competitive football. I think at some point in time, some of those players normally, because some of the players who used to play MLS, they have the same situation when they're playing for other senior teams in other countries, where if you go to play in the MLS, they might not still be playing for your country, given the similar situation. So some of them tend to go on loans in other leagues that are playing at the time to keep themselves available and fit enough to be selected. So I mean, I take your point, and I know you're not arguing against my point, but just adding another layer to the conversation. And I feel like it's something that we could work around. My basis of saying what I'm saying is that if players are performing and players are showing that they are able to add something to the Jamaican team, I think it is doing an injustice not to look at them. And I think you have to look at them from early too, because when it's closer to a tournament, you don't want to change a lot within the squad. So that is why I was even thinking that the Unity Cup, if we don't have the likes of Dujan Sterling, Malik Madasil, I think Dujan Sterling probably be injured right now. Malik Madasil, Rico Henry, and those guys, if we don't have them coming on board during that window, I don't think you try to bring them on board. And even a Mason Greenwood as well. I think Mason Greenwood is kind of different because of how he's performing so far in the League 1. But for me, it's almost like you want to bring them in now so they would get enough time. That's 3 games, Crystal, because it's supposed to be a 4-team series. So that's 3 games that you would get them to play together, and then you would have another 2 games in the World Cup qualifying campaign. I'm not disrespecting any opponent, but I think Jamaica should be able to get get the better of the British Virgin Islands, and with getting the better of British Virgin Islands, and I think coupled what would I call it now? Buoyed on the back of the Unity Cup and whatever we could achieve from the Unity Cup, buoyed on the back of that, getting a result against BVI away, coming back to Jamaica and playing in the stadium, I think we would have probably even 30,000 people watching in the stadium. So to me, it's a crucial window for Jamaica in terms of that period between May 29th and June the 7th. It's very crucial, Crystal, in the sense that June the 10th, we come back to play in Jamaica. And then when we play in Jamaica, we are going to leave and go to in the United States of America to play the Gold Cup. So can you imagine having a good performance or showing at the Unity Cup, bringing a couple of new faces and they assimilate within the squad, winning that game against BVI and coming back to the National Stadium with a capacity of at least 30,000 in the stadium?
So 12 man.
The 12, exactly, the 12 man. So, I mean, right now we don't have anybody that is in the team that is solo leveling. I mean, people, I don't know if you watch solo leveling, Crystal or Kima, but we don't have anybody that's solo leveling like they have the system like Sun Jingwoo. People, solo leveling is this great thing that I'm watching now. I think is an anime that I'm watching right now, and the guy gets stronger with every battle that he goes into. So that's what I would want to see Jamaica do, solo leveling, right? In terms of every time we play a team, we get better and better and better. So every game, I saw where we played against St. Vincent in the first leg, and in the second leg, I thought we got better. So when we go to the Unity Cup, I would just expect us to grow from strength to strength. And for me, I'm looking at winning the Gold Cup. I don't know about anybody else, but I'm looking to win this Gold Cup. And I think it's the reason why I'm thinking about winning the Gold Cup, Crystal and Chemo and people in the chat, is because when I look at the Club World Cup will be played at the same time. And for me, I know this might sound away, but I think some of the teams are going to be probably weaker in some aspect than some that in terms of the Club World Cup, because there's going to be a situation where some of these players, because it's the both tournament is going to run concurrently, if I'm not mistaken. Both tournaments are supposed to run concurrently because the Club World Cup is, I think, the 16th. I'm going to look for it and show you because I don't want to say something that is not true.
I can understand you saying it's going to be weaker, but on the other hand, other players that are coming in are looking to take other person's place, also making it more harder for the coach. So it's not going to be easier. But there's not a lot of players that will be missed. When you look at it, I think USA are the most players that would maybe be missed, and that's like maybe less than a handful of players. It's not a lot. I'm just saying maybe it's a handful. Yeah, Panama would be having their full strength team. I guess Canada will be having their full strength. Costa Rica, Mexico. Yeah, so don't think that will be a lot of player out. But let's see how it goes. We just have to wait until that time coming up. Based on the backlash.
Let me give you the date. I think the date for the Club World Cup is the 15th of June to the 13th of July. And the Gold Cup will be held on the 14th of June, which is a Saturday. That's the day after the day before the Club World Cup, and will end on the 6th of July. So that's a week before the Club World Cup ends. What I was saying is this, Kimo, right? In terms of the competition, when it comes onto the Club World Cup, you're going to have teams you're going to have MLS teams, you're going to have Liga MX teams, you're going to have European teams. So you're going to have teams in that some of those players are playing in CONCACAF. There's a lot of CONCACAF teams that are going to
Monterrey will be in it.
Yeah, so for me, some of those same players that you're talking about from Panama and those countries might not be playing for Panama come the Gold Cup. I'm not sure, no. But it's from my perspective, they would have to make a choice
You,
between
you know,
playing in
you
the
know
Club World Cup.
when, without me, I would be looking to see Jamaica aiming to win maybe the Nations League or the Gold Cup when they qualify for this World Cup, or when I see the team that will be picked, I could speak with more confidence. Based on what we have now, I think we would need more. We don't have
Yeah,
at least. I think if to do that, we need two good strikers, one starting and one coming off the bench. Where you can say, all right, then, man, I will come on, come score. We don't have that. We have that? Be honest. Do we have that?
no man, I'm not saying we have that, but I'm
But
saying to you,
when you
but I say,
championship winning team, every championship winning team always have certain qualities or certain things.
but look at it like this, Kimo, right? People don't look at our performances at the Gold Cup, really, for talk. We have been to back-to-back finals, and we have been to multiple Final Fours. Well, I know, we have been to multiple Final Fours. And that is even when people are saying that our team is not good. Even when people are
Mm.
saying our team is not good. So, in this situation, where you're going to have players probably choosing to play the Club World Cup over the Gold Cup, then we are going to be in a situation where I don't think a lot of our players are going to play the Club World Cup, because I don't think a lot of our players are going to be a part of a team that has a place in the Club World Cup. So that means we would probably be the strongest team in terms of when you look at the top 6 teams in CONCACAF. Because remember, you have the Mexico, the USA, Canada, Panama, Costa Rica, Jamaica. That's the top 6 teams.
Yeah,
And of
but
those
but,
6 teams,
but you think that we don't know what will happen or what the plans are for the Gold Cup for some of these players. So, and remember, history has showed we always have maybe a 2 or 3 player missing, important player. Pinnock have never played the Gold Cup for us, You know that.
yeah. But remember, this is why I tell you the Unity Cup. All right, so follow me now. This is why the Unity Cup to me is going to be important, because as Mrs. Scott pointed out, the Unity Cup should be based on one criteria: what previously unknown players with passports we are able to get. If it is that we get probably 6 players to come in the team through the Unity Cup, right? And those players now form a part of the squad. Some players that we probably would have not turned up, and for whatever reason, we don't know, but for whatever reason, they would have not played in certain tournaments before. It's a different ball game now, because remember, we are going to be buoyed from the 2 World Cup qualifying games. If we win those 2 games, we are into the 3rd round, right? We are into the final round of the World Cup qualification campaign. So that means you're closer to your dream of qualifying for the World Cup. And I'm sure every single one of those players wants to play a World Cup. So if you should ask them, every one of them want to play a World Cup. So I think this is not the time where you're going to see players missing tournaments or missing a game, unless they're significantly injured or something. So for me, the Gold Cup, I think the Gold Cup is a golden opportunity for Jamaica to
Yeah.
win
So I guess
win a
so I guess
tournament.
they understand the assignment ahead then, and people want to say, hey, I want to be a part of this injury. You say players maybe would want to play with slight injuries just to be a part of it, because they know this might just be important for the World Cup qualification and the
Yeah,
rhythm.
because man, I'm telling you, if you're a part of the squad that wins the Gold Cup, and what do you think is going to happen to the World Cup qualification campaign? You're going to be basically one of those players that are looking towards the World Cup qualification campaign, because you're going to have people who are saying, but these guys won the Gold Cup for us. So you have to understand that, and I think it bodes well for Jamaica coming back and playing like when they have the final round of fixtures for the World Cup qualification campaign. I
Mhm.
think if we win the Gold Cup, the stadium not empty again. The stadium is filled at every match
I
going
I
forward
think
to the
even if
World
we
Cup.
don't win the Gold Cup, I think even if we don't win the Gold Cup, the hype that will be on the team if we qualify for the World Cup would be even more longer. I think
Yeah,
that
man, I
hype would
know, man,
last.
but I'm talking
I think
about
that
I'm
hype
talking
that,
about
that hype could last for maybe a 4 year going into that hype could
yeah.
last going into the next World Cup
What I'm ta-
cycle.
what I- yeah, but what I'm talking about is chemo building up to. the World Cup qualification and leading up to qualifying for the World Cup. So by the time we qualify for the World Cup, it would be commonplace to have a full stadium, because every time the team comes out, the announcer would say the 2025 CONCACAF Gold Cup champions. So that's what and then the banner would be in the stadium to say the 2025 CONCACAF Gold Cup champions. So something like Crystal, tell me what do you think about that in terms of like from a marketing aspect and what the guys have to understand that what it would mean going into the World Cup qualification campaign.
So difficult to say. I think we're doing a fairly, not even fairly, a better job at marketing the team in comparison to recent years and previous World Cup cycles, like where the men's team is concerned. And we've seen where it is working. That's obviously not just down to the Jamaica Football Federation. I think more so it's down to YouTubers, and let's not forget the Reggae Boys and Girls Supporters Club. They've brought a life and energy, or helped to bring life and energy inside the stadium with the support of the band, and the cheerleaders that comes with the band and so on. So they've helped to drum up the noise, drum up the atmosphere. So they've played a massive role in all of that. And like I said, there's a couple YouTubers who have played a impactful role in getting fans into the stadiums. Ryan is one of them.
I could say the YouTubers 50%, where the done 50%.
Yeah, monumental support from the YouTubers. They've played a pivotal role in all of that. So I think it perhaps at this stage it's not wishful thinking that we can get a sold out capacity inside the National Stadium. I think once upon a time for me it did feel like that, but we came close to doing so recently, and I think we can do it. Again, like I said, if we were to go on to winning the Gold Cup, but I don't really want to jump the gun. It would be wonderful if we could win the Gold Cup, but we have so many flaws. Look at how we played against not Trinidad, Saint Vincent and the Grenadines. And the last game, even though we won it on aggregate, in reality, it doesn't echo the performance of the team. For me, it glosses over multiple cracks within our squad. So I like the idea of us winning the Gold Cup, but I am looking at this process as a cautiously optimistic. I just think we have so much groundwork to be done. I'm not saying the guys can't do it, because football is played on the day, but I just think I'm giving myself a reality check. Backtracking on what I said earlier on pertaining to which area of the field needs the most work, you know what they say, defense wins you titles, and to complement the defense, your attack also need to get their shooting boots on, and I just don't think we're at that point yet. But that's not to say I'm writing the boys off from winning the Gold Cup. Of course they're going to get my support. But I think, the last best result from the senior Reggae Boys team is the fact that we came third place in the Nations League last year, not the Nation Leagues that just went the previous year. And I could argue and say moments like those, as again with what Chemo said, 50% of what we've seen in the National Stadium pertaining to fan turnout is down to the YouTubers. Exactly, the content creators. We could perhaps argue and say, coming so close to winning or dethroning the United States, and obviously unfortunately we finished third place. That probably helped to bring some fans on side to say, we might be heading in the right direction. Of course, we've since changed gaffer since then, so we're under a completely different leadership, but there's some positives there. But I'm not sold completely yet, because we just look atrocious at times, if I'm being completely honest with you. So a lot of groundwork needs to be done before I can even say, we're going to be doing X, Y, Z.
Yeah, I mean, as I said, a lot of groundwork needs to be done. Mrs. Scott, they said the lady is grounded. The guys are unrealistic. This team has too many O's to believe we can beat Panama consistently. I mean, For me, I mean, probably she's talking about me being in that grounded in terms of beating Panama consistently. For what I said is, when I look at it, like a team like Panama, and I'm glad they touch on Panama. A lot of persons talk about Jamaica and the talent that Jamaica has at their disposal. When I look at the Panamanian team, I don't think any of the most majority of the Panamanians don't play in the top 5 leagues in the world. The top 5 league we mean like La Liga, the Bundesliga, Liga in France, the Serie A in Italy, and the English Premier League. A lot of these
Yes,
guys are playing in the Central American region, in Honduras, Costa
but yes,
Rica, Panama. Well, no, but Panama, they're playing in the North American leagues. And if you look at the current rankings, I think they are up there in the top 4. And I think the USA team has more players playing in Europe than any other team in CONCACAF right now, right? And in the top leagues, in the top leagues with it, Bundesliga, the Serie A, the EPL, you name them, and they're 4th right now in the CONCACAF. So for me, it comes down to team chemistry. It comes down to coaching. It comes down to the tactical setup and makeup of the team. I think it comes down to player quality as well. But in terms of how you approach the game, when you look at those teams, you're saying, what is the difference between those teams competing? When you look at Jamaica, have Leon Bailey, English Premier League, the Champions League. They're in the I think they're in the semi-final of the FA Cup. That's Aston Villa. They're in the Champions League quarterfinals, if I'm not mistaken. In the top 6 in the Premier League, or the top 10 in the Premier League. Ethan Pinnock plays in the Premier League, right? You have Bobby Reid plays in the Premier League. We have the goalkeeper who plays, Andre Blake plays in the MLS. And then you have players like Isaac Aiden in the Championship. We have Lati Bodir in the Championship, right? You have Amari Bell in the Championship. So when you look at the players that we have at our disposal, some would say they are playing at a higher level than even some of the Panamanian players. But then, as I said, it comes back down to chemistry, it comes back down to tactics, it comes back down to coaching, it comes back down to how we gel the team. So I think the holes in the team are just holes where we just need to get it together in our style of play and everything, because on paper the quality is there. So I just think we just need to figure out how to get the quality to assimilate together and play together and show, like playing through the lines, passing through the lines, playing around the press and through the press, around the press, and all of those things. Like, we just need to get the tactical approach correct, and we should be able to get it over the line. I know that it is a short time space for us to do all those things and get it together, and I'm just thinking positively that with so many good players, Crystal, so many good players, Chemo, there cannot be a way where we can't get it together in time to qualify for the World Cup, as well as win the Gold Cup. I mean, people don't like to use the word win, but we're past the stage of just wanting to compete in some of these tournaments. We should be able to think about winning these tournaments. So that was basically my 2 topics in terms of recruiting areas that we need to recruit in, and I think we would have touched it in the
all
left back
right.
area.
I hear touch on winning the Gold Cup.
Mhm.
You were in the position. What would you need to be equipped to win the Gold Cup? What you need? You need. What are the equipments that you would need? When I say equipments, I'm talking about players. What else you think you would need? It's gonna
The
be more than just
resources,
a player. Uh,
for me, in terms of the resources that I would need, I think in terms of a few more like players, in terms of the quality of the position, in terms of, as I said, 6 players for me: the right back, a left back, right, a left wing back, a right wing back. Right back can play full back as well, right? I would need 2 formidable strikers at least. I mean, I think Warner Brown for me is a good find. So if you can get 2 more forward players who can play in the position, and right now my mind is on Malik Madasil and Mason Greenwood coming in. So I think Malik Madasil, Mason Greenwood, and Warner Brown would be those 3 for me would occupy in terms of our forward. Whether we use 2 of them both two combination like Warner Brown Mothers and Mason Greenwood, or Mason Greenwood and Madasil, if we can use two at the time. And in terms of the middle of the park, I think we are devoid of central midfielders who can hold on to the ball and dictate play. So I feel like we could go and get at least two other midfielders who are comfortable in terms of passing the ball and comfortable in terms of recycling position and keeping a tempo on the game. I hear a lot of people mention Ravel and those guys, but I mean, yeah, the John Russell, I think Lewis Baker is there as well, and you probably have other players out there that has not been mentioned. So for me, those are the key areas that I would be putting on the table. Say, yo, get me these things, or get me these players. I don't want to call it the players things. So get me these players, and for me, we do the rest in terms of the coaching staff. I mean, you're still going to try and utilize the players at your disposal right now, but I mean, if you could get those players, I think it will be far, far better for the team in terms of to try as in win the tournament as well as qualify for the World Cup going forward. So for me, that's what I would necessarily need. And then the other things speak for itself in terms of smooth transportation and those things, traveling wise and not having to go through certain hassles. So I think those things administratively speak for itself. But in terms of the key thing to get the quality players on the pitch, and I think that's where we would align. You're muted.
What about attacking midfielder?
So that's why I said in the middle of the park, I think we need at least 2 to 3 midfielders. If we could get an attacking midfielder and 2 central midfielders, then I would take that. Like 2 central midfielders and an attacking midfielder, I would take that. As well as I said, 2 forward and the 2 wing backs. I feel as if we already have and that's like 7 players. For me, we have a complement of players where I think some of those players we can keep. We have like a Cephas. We have, as I said, I think Warner Brown for me show that you can have him going forward. Leon Bailey is there, Bobby Reed, Ethan Pinnock, Damian Lowe, Richard King, Andre Blake, Isaac Aiden. Yeah, so that's 9 players for me so far. And then you would really be looking around to see who you can fit in. So for me, that's 9 players, and that's 9 players that have played together quite frequently outside of Warner Brown. So there's nothing where if you're carrying, if I had 2 more players, I think Amari Bell you can keep. Amari Bell haven't really done anything for me to say that he shouldn't still be a part of the team going forward. So that's 10 players, right? So that right there, that's 10 players. You're bringing another player. I think Lati Bodier, that's 11 players. So for me, that's 11 players where all of them could play on the pitch at the same time, because I gave you 2 centre back, I gave you a right back and a left back, I gave you a goalkeeper, I gave you the couple midfielders and the forward players. So that is 11 players that I think could form the core setup of the team, or is in the players that I think deserve to be kept and continue forward. And then you look to supplement the team with the other players that I talk about coming in. If you talk about Arico, Henry, I think Adushan Sterling, a Lewis Baker, a Mason Greenwood, a Madasil. So for me, that's where I think it could come down to. You keep those 11 players, and then you bring in a next complement of players to come and play with those 11 players. And I think in terms of chemistry, the 11 players and the chemistry together is the coach need to find out which combination of the 11 that he utilizes. And we don't want to be in a position where the coach doesn't seem like he trusts his bench, because we've watched several games now where he fails to go to the bench until late in the game. Like he goes to the bench like in the 70th minute, or he goes to the bench in the 80th minute. He goes to the bench very, very late. And what that tells me is that he has no confidence that the players on the bench are good enough to come on and not miss a beat when they are in terms of the players that are starting. And I feel like the players that you would keep and the players that you would bring in would be fighting for a position, because when a Mason Greenwood comes in, Mali comes in, and you have Warner Brown, it depends on who is performing at the time. So it's not about, yo, we're going to start you because your name is Mason Greenwood, or we're going to start you because your name is Leon Bailey. You go out there, you perform, you keep, or you earn your starting position based on your performances. So it's pretty much for me in terms of how you would go forward in setting up the team. But as I said, those 11 players that I named, I think that those are the 11. And I will give them again, like Andre Blake in goal, Lati Bodier for me, right back, Amari Bell left back, Ethan Pinnock in the centre back position, Damian Lowe in the centre back position, Isaac Aiden in the middle of the park. We have a Ronaldo Cephas, a Demarai Gray, we have a Warner Brown, a Leon Bailey. And I think those are the players that you would look to say, oh, we are adding to those players. And then we fill out the squad going forward.
Fair enough.
But the final, go
Mhm.
ahead, go ahead.
No, I was just saying that Warner Brown, it's good for the league. It's good to see that someone from the league, based on the things that have been said over the years, to see someone coming in, putting in the performance, stating the claim that here, I am here to stay. I want to be here. I want to be a part of this team. And is a player that looks very hungry. And we need that kind of player. Maybe after some of my times after these player putting a consistent shift in a season, if they play the following season, you don't see the same level of consistency. But I think after this season, him having a good playoff, I see him leaving Jamaica and not coming back to play the JPL next season, which is good for his development also. Because yes, he's scoring against these. You watch the video that I made over the weekend. He's scoring against teams from the Jamaica Premier League. You understand? We need a player now that can score against all the big teams that we play in CONCACAF, the Costa Rica, the Mexico, and the USAs of this world. So to see a young player coming in, showing that hunger and that determination,
Sorry.
to me, he only can get better for the rest of the season. I'm expecting to see him back for the World Cup qualifiers and the Gold Cup. I think he will get better as the season go by, as the JPL season go by. Hopefully, he finds a club that suits him and that helps with his development also. But I mean, if players are going to be put in the national team from the Jamaica Premier League, for some players they might hit the ground running, but for some players it might take 1 game, 2, maybe 3, or even 4 games. But this is a national team, so the standard of the national team is much different than club. You understand? You need player that can give the national team results. So it might sound harsh, but you just need the best of the best.
Yeah, so yeah, man, as I said before, for me, that's all I view it. As I say, you just need the best of the best. And so far he's got 19 goals, He's got 19 goals in 27 appearances. And last year Golden Boot winner would have been Javian Bryan, who scored 17 goals. I think he would have scored 17 goals. So he's on that way. And I think Christopher Nicholas would have scored 25 goals, if I'm not mistaken, in 2004-05 season. And I don't think anybody has scored so much goals since recently. Like you'd have players like Colin Anderson would have scored 20. You'd have Craig Foster would have scored 20. So I mean, and you'd have like Kevin Lamy scored 22. Devon Hodges would have scored 24. But that's what those are like 15 years ago.
So the
But
most goal is what?
the most, I think, what I'm seeing is Christopher Nicholas would have scored 25. And Tuffy Anderson would have scored Tuffy Anderson would have scored the most since recent in terms of 2012 when he scored 21 goals. So far, Warner Brown is at 19, and Tuffy Anderson would have scored 21 in 2012, 2013. So I think he's on course to score more than that. I hope this young man can score at least 30 goals because if you score 30 goals, and I think is what 39 games in the league.
Mhm.
If he goes on to score 30 goals in the JPL, I think that is some form of history in
That
terms
is
of,
a statement.
yeah, man, that's a statement. And then it leads other people to see, oh, he's not just here to just come and just go through the
Regardless of
motions.
how poor the league is, 30 goals.
No, man, I
Maybe.
mean, as I said before, if he can score 30 goals in the league and keep that up, scoring 30 goals, I don't think he stays. It doesn't. Definitely doesn't stay. I just hope he has a good agent so he could get to, at
No,
least
I
even a
think the
top 10
problem
league.
is, I think the problem is, I don't think the problem is getting these players outside of Jamaica, The problem is getting them outside, but not putting their foot down, putting in the work, adapting to the weather and the circumstances, and can put in if we can have a few strikers that is scoring 10 goals a season out in Europe, 10 goals a season when you watch a league. So you watch a league like me down in Italy, we have a player scoring 10 goals for the season, 8 goals, maybe 9. Because we know that it's the best of the best over there in those top clubs. You understand? If you can have if you have a player playing for like Lazio Parma, and he's scoring 10, 12 goals, average 10 to 12 goals each season, that is good,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That,
That would be very,
that would
very
be
good.
good. That will good. Will good. We'll start producing players who can score, have like 5 goals and 6 assists, 7 assists. If we want to be creating or developing players like that, or want players when they go overseas, those are the stats they're chipping
I think,
in.
yeah, and it's a testament to the amount of games that are going to be played this season. Remember, this season is expanded in the JPL, so they're going to play at least 39 games. And the more football you play, I think, is the better you perform in terms of you're getting more reps, as they would call it, or more rounds. So we come to the penultimate topic, the one where everybody probably feel that, oh, and it's on the video where I said remittance doesn't equal power, and people before want to jump down on me when they say remittance doesn't equate to power. I'm just talking about when it comes down to the eligibility of players, and for me, the quota rule in the youth teams is wrong. Number one, I think xenophobia is a word that is overused over a period of time. Like people are just using it right now randomly to to anybody. So it's overused, but it is a word that you have to kind of refer to. So I think xenophobia is wrong, and the quota rule in the youth team when you have like players eligible and players all over the talent all over the world, you cannot restrict talent to a certain demographic or or a area based just on birth. You have to look at the heritage. Right now, football has gone past. If you're born, yes, sir. You get what I say? Football is now. You look at the heritage, and if you have Jamaican parentage or if you have African parentage and in an African country, Nigerian, it depends. So for me, when I'm touching on the point about remittance, I think when it comes on to football and it comes on to sports overall, like you don't want to mix up and insert a thing like remittance in the conversation to suggest as if you have persons who are giving back to the country in remittances and we are blocking their kids or their kids from potentially representing the nation. I think that's kind of crossing a dangerous line because when I look at it, Jamaica has a lot of persons who travel on the farmer program. And if you know, the farmer program is the seasonal workers program. And in that program, some people are gone for 6 months, some people are gone for 8 months, some people are gone for even 2 years. They're gone. Some people are ship workers, hotel workers, field workers. And in order to take care of their family, when they earn from overseas, what they do is send back those monies come local. So are we going to divide up all the monies are being sent where there are people who are temporarily working overseas sending back money to take care of their family and their friends, and most of the times remittances that is in case of that when you go overseas, it doesn't necessarily mean you're absolved from your responsibility. If you have kids at home, or if you have parents that are dependents of yours, grandparents, whatever relative that you have as a dependent, I think the funds that you send come to Jamaica is to take care of said dependents, to send them to school, to pay for tuition, to clothes, food, all the other necessary necessities. And even if you have like a house, and you have, if you have a home, or you have other business, if you have other things in the country, then you would send money to deal with those things. I've been in situations where persons, I have persons overseas who are friends who are dealing with businesses in Jamaica, and they would send me money to deal with the business for them. It's not money for me to do anything with more than to handle their business. And I don't think it necessarily where it's like a power dynamic, we're going to say because they're doing this, then they should have some form of power within the economy. You understand? So because you have foreign direct investment as well. We want foreign the persons who are investing in the country, like the persons who are building hotels and those things in the country, to necessarily have an impact on the country itself. When you look at politics, for example, Crystal Kim and those of you who are still in the comment section, when you look at politics, for example, if you donate to a party a certain amount of money, does it necessarily mean that the party should um, craft a policy that basically is beneficial to you, or it should be on a wider scale, like on a macro scale, that is beneficial to the country at large and the populace in the country, and not necessarily just you, just because you would have gifted that party a certain amount of money. You would have done it so because your views might have aligned with the party's ideologies, or what they are their mandate. So in terms of aligning with their mandate, I think they would have had crafted policies that would suit you personally, but it also suit the benefit of the country. So in my opinion, it depends on what terms you're using. And if you look at like donations, if for example a person is donating to a sporting organization, how much power does that person want in that sporting organization? Or how much power should that person have in that sporting organization? So, so you kind of have to look at the terms that you use and how do you try to correlate it. I don't think there's any correlation between remittances and persons representing the national team, whether it be netball, basketball, football, cricket, or any sports per se. But what do you guys think?
I mean, if I go first.
Crystal or Kimo, you can go. I mean, Kimo, you can go first, and then Crystal can go after.
All right. So first of all, nothing is wrong with remittances. Remittances plays a vital role right across the world. You understand? And in right across the world, the diaspora is important. However, where some people might on the outside might not really understand this whole remittances thing. They might see it as a give and take back. You understand? Or you owe me something. Or feel like, oh, your privilege or entitlement. They would see it as an entitlement then. So for me, remittances. For me, this whole remittances as it relates to the footballing aspect, you understand, is based for me is it have to do with just development on a whole. You understand? And if there are people where it relates to our football and they're doing remittances, and maybe in the future they have someone representing the team or family member or anyone. I don't think that should even differ based on certain relationship they have with the team or what they are doing, because some of the time it's gonna boil down to certain decisions, you know. And things are subjected to change at times. So some of the times maybe when people are a part of certain organization, and most of the time the people that are a part of organization in the country, maybe some of their offsprings aren't the best as it relates to the sport, but maybe because they're giving money, there comes the entitlement, thinking that hey, they should have their offspring in the team. So for me, this is not really a topic that I really enjoy delving because it can cause a lot of controversy. You understand? But it's something that people should really look into and touch on.
All right, and that was Kimo's view, people. Talawa, let's say I want to touch it because I know, as I say, it's a dicey topic and it's not something that a lot of persons kind
She'll be
of.
back. She'll be back.
Okay, yeah. I realize. Yeah, so for me, Kimo, as you rightfully said, like it's a dicey topic, bro, and it's not something that sometimes you really want to touch it because we know where it is. Mrs. Scott, it's like you're gonna leave us. You don't want to touch on the topic though. So yeah, man. In terms of for me, let me tell you, it all boils down to in terms of how much, what role do you want to play, and is it as a result of your donations you want to play a role? I think you would have looked at the Reggae Girls and the role that Sidela Mari would have played and should have done well and everything. And I think a lot of persons wanted her to be even the president of the JFF at the time. But I think people have to also look into when Captain was the president and Captain was probably a sponsor of the football at the time as well with his private finances. And I don't know if it worked out in the favor where a lot of people would have think that it ought to have worked out in. So for me, it depends on how you are looking at it. Which lens do you look at it in, or which lens do you look through it on? So for me, you don't want a scenario as you pointed out where you have somebody giving, trying to put money towards supporting the team, and then if their child or their relative isn't selected, then it causes a controversy. So I mean, it depends on how you put all those things together. But as I said before, when it comes down to financial support of a program within the country, financial support of any program within the country, I think it doesn't necessarily equate to you getting this being placed in a decision making position within the country. For example, if you donate to the children's hospital, I don't think you're in a position to dictate or to be placed in a position of power where you can dictate how many persons are admitted to the children's hospital, or when
Mhm.
what like the
Our free
closing or
health,
opening
our
was.
free health care, our free health care.
Yeah, I say you get them like. But for me, what we can always look at is that if you want to be able to participate, because once you're a Jamaican, you're nationalized, naturalized Jamaican, you have the ability to participate within the country and the country's affairs. All you have to do is like you get enumerated and all of those things. And I don't want to touch on political stuff, but I'm just saying there's ways in which you can influence or get an opportunity to have an hand in the decision making of who is governing your country or who is shaping policies within the country that you're aligned to. You understand? So for me, it comes down to that dynamic. But to mix the two, to throw the two in the pot and mix it, and then say you're probably people just probably using it to suggest a point in terms of when you're talking about like the quota system and all of those things. But I think it's two separate points, because for me the quota system is wrong. You won't able to play your best football or attract the best talent by having a quota and restricting your teams to a certain number of players simply because the player wasn't born in the country, because we have moved past that situation now. And the other part is
Exactly.
that if you're going to have a quota can only be good for like a domestic league, because we've seen it in the Premier League, we've seen it in La Liga, we've seen it in all of those leagues. So a quota in the JPL, nothing is wrong with that, because at the end of the day, you want to protect the domestic talent within the country. But then you kind of relax the quota in just a way where you can have enough foreign players come in the league, like the St. Lucian, the St. Vincent, these other guys come in the league, and they have improved the Trinidadians and the Bajans, all of those guys that would have come into the Jamaica Premier League. I think they would have added quality because you're not playing against the same player or the same type of player week in, week out. So for me, you relax the quota within that sphere, but it should be totally eliminated within like the junior setup and completely just not be a part of any national team program. But I don't know if Crystal is here, so Crystal can give her take. Up 16-0, 1 TV. Gentle people, please remember to like, share, subscribe. If you're not a subscriber as already, I would like you to subscribe to the channel, and you can always leave your comments after the video in the comment section, and you can interact with us in the chat section as well. Go ahead, Crystal.
Yeah, I'm trying to like listen to what you said, yourself and Kimo, and trying to like catch up on what was discussed. But I think and I think Kimo touched on it, that it's a subject that can take you into multiple directions. Because I think as much as we are fan of the game, whether you want to call it the beautiful game or not, unfortunately, I think we can all agree that and I'm not saying what you're discussing is politics, but I think we can all agree that politics plays a role in football. So I think where you're talking about something, again, like paraphrasing what Kimo said, can pretty much open up a can of worms, or you're probably in the position where you can look at it from multiple angles. My thing is this for you, like, is this like a gripe for our football program? Like, do you see it as a gripe, or because I'm still trying to like make sense of it, because I think we have like we're loaded with multiple gripes where our football is concerned. So I'm just like trying to understand if this is like,
you're saying if it's a gripe? I feel like it's a gripe in terms of trying to not allow that narrative to go out there. For me, it might not have been built up already, but we know that we are touching on a topic where, Crystal, we have Jamaicans that are eligible to play from England, we have Jamaicans that are eligible to play from America, we have Jamaicans all over the world that are eligible to play for the country. And being in a foreign country, being born in a different country and carrying Jamaican heritage, you know, some of the things that can be said are some of the things that can be translated, because you don't want people to come out and say, oh, you want our money, but they don't want our kids. They want our money, but you're restricting or stopping our family from representing or having a potential opportunity to represent. So I'm trying to dissuade people from throwing in both in the pot, because in terms of like donation, sponsorship, and remittance, I think there are different things.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. I just think, again, if we're gonna be talking about remittance, then there is different subjects there, different topics there that potentially needs to be discussed. Because as I said, unfortunately, with football, politics somehow plays a role. Either which way you want to look at it, there's always some form of politics in football. Isn't that something that you agree with?
Yeah, as in you said, politics, repeat the point. I'm not saying in terms of politics playing a role in terms of the football landscape.
No, I'm just saying, broadly speaking, in general, politics plays a role in football. So could this not be argued as another form of politics, or just one of the one form of politics that comes with sports, not just football? Not saying I agree with it,
No,
but
man,
I'm just,
I mean, I take your point. It's one form of politics that comes with the sports, as I said, as you suggested, in terms of there's politics involved in like even office politics, as people tell you, politics is involved in everything, and you know people make their decision. So this would be a form of, I think, as I said, politics in the form of the football landscape, and even as you rightfully point out, know that football has transformed into where internationally people are recruiting persons with ancestral heritage, it has brought a different dynamic to the conversation. So what if, Crystal, per se, I have enough money and I have a kid and I want him to be a part of the team? Could I influence the process?
Well, if you follow football, then you know that that is possible, like, as they say. And obviously, we're not saying that that is the case where Jamaica
No,
football.
no, we're not saying that that is the case. It's just
Just
that you're trying. Yeah, go
in
ahead.
general, these type of things happen, whether you agree with it or disagree with it. At the end of the day, money talks. It's the world that we live in. Some people say it's the nature of the game. It's a nasty world. So it does happen, but my thing is, like, how do you prevent that from happening? Like, is we know that these type of things happen. We know on the flip side, we also know that agents, from what we have seen and the stories that we have heard, that agents sometimes play a role in the politics that we're alluding to. Like, let's say there's a player there in a academy and the agent wants to get him to another academy, and to do so you need parental consent. They probably go out their way to tap up the parents, so give mom and dad a big house, send the kid to private school, give mom and dad the latest Range Rover, latest Mercedes Benz, whatever. And if
Well, I love when you touch on that, Crystal. You see that is precisely the point, Crystal. Like, we already have seen this in, like, club and domestic, like, sports. When it comes down to club sports, as I said, academy and those things. When a club needs a specific player, we don't, like, certain things that is done. And then vice versa, if you want to get your son or daughter into a situation where you're representing something, then you have the other aspect of it that it can happen as well. So that is why I would say you kind of want to eliminate certain verbiage when you're discussing the new dynamics of football. I know the politics is there, but we have to kind of push back on those things, and then look at the meritocracy of playing for your country, because we still have to get back down to that point where it's just on merit. And anything in life you want it to be merit, but some things you can't control. But for me, when it comes down to nationwide, it's a
yeah,
different thing.
yeah. Andre, you could, yeah, do that. Thank you. Sorry about that. Sorry about that, Cece. Yeah, again, it's just I guess you could call it the dark or the ugly side of football. My thing is, like, what can we do about it? That's my thing.
Yeah, like, as I say, what can we do about it? I think the solution is like having certain things set up. For me, it's the way in which you structure your organization or you structure your football, your program. So, in the sense that, to me, it's almost like, yeah, blind donations. If you get what I'm saying, like, if you, in terms of your funding, you have sponsorship, but if people are donating, it has to come from a place of, like, organizations that are donating per se. And I don't want it to, like, have an individual person donate. For example, if your child is going to play for a team, you're going to try to ensure your child get the best things if necessary for your child to go and be successful. But when it comes down to the team itself, I think if you can, there needs to be better marketing in terms of the entity that is representing the team needs to market the team better, Crystal, in terms of getting sponsorship towards the things that they want to do. You understand what I say? Like, we understand the whole aspect of you wanting to help and everything, but you do not want to put people in position that you feel as if you're disenfranchising them, for want of a better term.
Well, what if the parent, again, touching on the remittance that you're alluding to, what if the parent says, well, okay, then if I can't have my way, I'm taking everyone down with me, all the walls must come down, then what?
Yeah, respect 16-0. Yeah, man. And that's the thing too. If the parents think
It's just this. It's not something I'm siding it, but based on what you're saying to me, it sounds like another form of politics. So again, if the parents isn't getting their own way, in relation to what it is they're trying to achieve, they could easily turn around and say, okay, well, let's talk about this politics as well while we're at it.
exactly, that is why I said you have to structure it in a way where I would know if Crystal, if I have organized, if I have like the national team, and I wouldn't really want funding from you if you have a child and your child is playing for me, or somebody has a child and their child is playing for the team, or they're with the team per se. If they want to contribute, I think they would have to contribute through an anonymous channel. So it cannot there cannot be a face to the funding per se. If there's a face to the funding, it has to be an
Name,
organization.
nameless
I don't want.
donation,
Hmm?
nameless donations, anonymous
Yes.
donations.
Yeah, or if it is that it's going to be attached to a name, it has to be like an organization. So if you want to start a charity club and then you have people who are part of that charity club and they supply and they put funding towards it, and it does happen that there's kids who are participating or people who are participating in playing for the country at that time, then fine. But for me, it cannot have a name or individual attached to it, because once that comes in, that is where the innate biases people are going to think, oh, maybe this is going on or maybe that is going on. You get what I'm saying?
Thing, I think it's a hard thing to control, if I'm being honest with you. It's extremely you're gonna have to go undercover if you want to control that one. Again, not siding with it, not saying it's right, not saying it's okay, but I think it's one of those things where you're going to have all eyes peeled, all ears glued to the walls, listening. Yeah, that's a tough one. That's a really, really tough one.
Yeah, I
I'm not
mean, as I said, it's a conversation that we have to like sit down and revisit and have, because it's an uncomfortable. You ever hear people say uncomfortable conversations with a black man?
no, I'm not. This is my first time hearing it.
Yeah, there's this saying that there's uncomfortable conversations with a black man.
Really, why?
Um, Not being like you're talking about certain things that is not necessarily of the norm, and people are uncomfortable with it because it's kind of too true to discuss. So big up PG Productions. Thanks for the subscription. Yeah. So it's one of those things where you say, oh, it's just kind of an uncomfortable conversation because you don't want to touch on anybody's crown, but you're saying that it's something that you can't really control at the end of the day. So you don't really want to. It's almost as if you don't want to say anything about it because
No, I'm not. You know me.
not you enough per se,
Yeah. No, I think, look, football is a game of opinions. If there's something there that you think is worth having a discussion, then a conversation about anything, then by all means, go ahead and do that. I'm sure there'll be someone out there keen to chime in and want to know more pertaining to whatever it is you're expressing to your audience. But again, I feel like this, just like you said, it's a conversation that should possibly be revisited because there are different areas there that can be added to the conversation, if that makes sense.
yeah, there's different layers. There's different layers. Definitely different layers. That can be added to the conversation. I love the love that I'm getting from the people still. Them give me so far. I've gotten 26 likes. I love it, people. Appreciate I appreciate your time that you have taken out to come on the stream, like up the stream. The subscribers, new subscribers. I'm trying to put out lot more lives. You can even suggest like topics that you would like to discuss. For me, is I'm coming with something else. I think Crystal is probably the only person in the universe that knows about this. So I'm gonna come with something that is gonna be a different thing, people. When time it's the airwaves, something that is new, refreshing, And Crystal, your favorite one of your subscribers are here.
Who
Here
is
by
that?
Simone. Here by Simone.
Oh my God! Hey, bye, Simone. Hey, Simone. How you? Good to
Why
see you.
Crystal look like make me get popular with the other
She's one of
sex.
my like loyal female subscribers, so it's nice to see her in the comment section.
Like once Crystal is up, she's up. Big up myself here by Simone. People
Oh,
want here, link by Simone.
you should
So you
do.
should do match statistics on girls and boys. Oh yeah, definitely. Like I'm not gonna leave the girls out. Oh, she was asking you, Crystal, what was Mother's Day? I guess she wanna speak.
Mother's Day was lovely. Thank you for asking. That's very kind of you. But yeah, I enjoyed my Mother's Day. Can't complain. I hope and pray to God I live to see many more Mother's Day. But it was yeah, you don't take these things for granted. It was emotional for me. It was a very emotional day. As you could have seen with the live stream. I did a live stream on Mother's Day, and yeah, very emotional. Like for me, I treated it as a day of reflection, just reflecting on journey, what it means to be a mom, and so on. So it was definitely emotional for me. But yeah, as I said, I hope I live to see many more Mother's Day. And to all the ladies in the comment section, when the Mother's Day come for you guys, happy Mother's Day in advance. And I hope, like myself, you all live to enjoy
So
multiple
we'll put on some female colors for the mothers.
Yeah, and for the fathers as well, we have to big up the fathers as well, speaking it into existence. So they all have a lovely Father's Day when it comes as well. Special moments.
Yeah, big up, as I said, big up here by Simone. Thank you for being here. I know your favorite YouTuber is here, Crystal. Thank you for
I,
being here, Parade Gardens TV.
I actually don't know how she found my channel. I can't remember if I asked her that, but I just saw her in the comment section one day and I was like, whoa, there's another woman.
Yeah. And Crystal,
But
don't you see my background?
yes, how can I not? I've locked my eyes on your background. I got two CCs looking at me.
Where's that? Yeah, I wonder if people are gonna say me self-centered, but guess what? Like, yeah, I have a self-portrait of
That's
myself.
wonderful art. Who drew it?
Yeah, I don't remember what the guy's name. I have to go and ask him. I don't think he left his name on it.
But that's a really good picture of you. They did a good drawing. There we go.
Yes, people, them get it. Them get it right. Look,
Yeah, they got it right. They got it
they
right.
got it right. They got it right.
That's
So
a
it's
good
the,
art.
is the CC in the glasses.
CC in the glasses. CC. You see with the glasses. You see?
Oh, she's saying that she's been following you from over Ryan's channel.
Oh, wonderful. I like that. I actually want more female subscribers. I don't really have many. Like more than 90% of my subscribers are all men. Like it's very male dominated. And I have a mature audience as well. A lot
I
of
guess.
mainly 30-year-old upwards, which I'm not complaining about. But big up Ryan again, big up Elite Sports TV.
Yeah, she said the beard and glasses, he got it right.
Got it right, mate. He got it right. He got
Yeah,
it right.
look how long in the session we phone put on the glasses. Maybe I'm a trademark looking at.
It is the CC with the glasses, mate. That is the trademark.
That's the trademark, man. The CC with the glasses, and they see the background now for YouTube. That is a trademark, people. CC in the
I
glasses.
think what Timo said, though, I've been thinking about it. This round robin thing is actually a wonderful idea. I think
Yeah,
that's probably what we execute in our group. Obviously, if we want to expand outside of it, by all means, but I think that's a lovely idea to do the round
yeah,
robin.
man. It's a lovely idea. We could conceptualize it and then come and organize like the topics that we would bring across to discuss. As I said, we have 10 more videos, 10 more minutes, people, because we're just going to 2 hours. We're not going to keep Crystal too long. And I think this is probably one of my first live stream in a while. Crystal. And I remember I told you that I was going to invite you on it. So, I mean, and as well as you have prompted me so often to, branch out and come and do the live stream. So,
It's been a pleasure. Like I've sat through this one. I had to go get a snack because I got a headache.
oh my.
Yeah, and I don't have no tablets to take, so I'm trying to see. I might just have to sleep this one off. But I got a headache. But I'm trying to see if I can do a
But there's
live.
many more there's many more to come because look, May come in, we'll have the as I said, the Unity Cup, and we're looking forward to see some players. I think before that we have the Reggae girls that are going to play. I think I should give you guys that right now. Like I don't want to leave the girls out because the girls have made us proud time and time again. The Reggae girls, they're supposed to play some fixtures now, right, Crystal?
Yeah, they got Mexico coming up Saturday, and also what I believe is Tuesday for you guys, Wednesday for me. So they've got a game against two games actually this window against Mexico.
Oh yeah, Mexico. So people, so I'm gonna give you now. We have two games. The Reggae Girls, that is, have two games coming up. One on April the 5th and one on April the 8th. On April the 5th, it is CPKC Stadium, Kansas City. That's 4:30 p.m. April the 5th against Mexico. And game two is at the Shell Energy Stadium in Houston, Texas, at the Shell Energy Stadium, 7:30 p.m. So if you guys are in the area or anybody watching this video and the rewatch, they're in the area, you can go out and support the Reggae Girls. I will give you the squad. The squad is Sydney Schneider, Leah Brooks, Rebecca Spencer. Those are the three goalkeepers. The defenders: Alison Swaby, Nava Cardoza, Jalea McPherson, Chantal Swaby, Conia Plummer. And then in the middle of the park now, you have I'm not sure how I pronounce this name, but Juice Spence, Danisha Blackwood, Vian Sampson, Jade Bailey. Can you pronounce that name, Crystal? Adamaloken? Kun? I think
So
that's how it pronounced.
by her first name. So she usually calls herself Sade Adam Malukun.
Adamaloken. Yeah, Adamaloken. She's also in the middle of the park. And in the forward lineup now, we have Tiffany Cameron, Paige Bailey Gale, Jody Brown, Shania Ailes, Rihanna Blades, Kayla McKenna, Trudy Carter, Chanel Buckley, Cameron Simmons. I remember Trudy Carter is on fire, people, again now. So, in terms of, again, I said Reggae Girls versus Mexico, April the 5th, 4:30 p.m. at the CPKC Stadium, Kansas City. If I'm not mistaken, Crystal, that is the first designated female football stadium. I think that's what it is if I'm not mistaken. Did you hear it? Like I think it's the first stadium that was built that is designated to women's football.
Oh wow.
I think so. If I don't wanna let me tell you, because I heard about it recently and I wanted to touch on it. So I touch.
No, yeah, you're right. First privately built multi-purpose.
Yes, sir. Located, serve as the home ground for the Kansas City current of the of the National Women's Soccer League. The stadium opened on the 16th of March. It is the first privately financed stadium purpose-built exclusively for a professional women's soccer team. So, yes, guys, as I said before, it's the first stadium that was purposely built exclusively for a women's soccer team. So, what they mean by that is that it was built for a women's soccer team. It wasn't built for a male soccer team and then they had to share the stadium with the women. Most of the time, women had to enter a facility that was designed for men before. But this was purposely built for the women's team, and that is the Kansas City Current of the National Women's Super League in America. So the Jamaicans will be playing at that stadium, and that must be an historic event. So, and also I must give to you, the last time the Reggae Girls faced the Mexicans, It was in 2022, and Jamaica won that game by 1-0. So that's pretty much the information I have for you tonight on this show. So as you know, April the 5th and April the 8th, CPKC Stadium, first privately financed, purposely built professional women's stadium. Where's the Crystal? A clap for that?
It's a massive clap. It's a massive clap.
Clap it. Yeah, man, it's a massive clap for that, people. It shows the growth within the women's game, and where it is going in terms of its recognition in the football world for that massive investment to have been made. So especially in America, I think America has been the pioneers when it comes down to women's football, and they are so far shown their hands again with building the stadium. And then the game is at 4:30 and 7:30. And we're looking for a good showing from the Reggae Girls, as per usual.
Are you trying to tell us that you're not going to do a watch along? Is that what you're saying?
What do you mean? Like, why would I not do a watch along? We could do a collaboration.
I'm just putting it out there, CC Sports.
Yeah, all right. Listen. We like how you put me on the spot, I'm going to put it on the spot. Are we doing a collaboration for the Reggae Girls?
I'm always present. I'm ever present. Teacher's favorite. I'm ever present.
Yes. So there you have it, folks. We'll be doing a collaboration. And as I said, I want to give all you guys, big up all you guys in the comment section. If you have not subscribed to the channel as yet, you can hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. Give me at least 50 likes, people. I know I'm further away from it than I would like to be, but it's at 27 now. I know by the time the video ends, it should be at least 50. So I would love for 50 likes. Owen, you're there, so I say up. Like, you like the stream yet? A 3-minute number, boss. Let's go like the stream, man. Like up the stream. The Chemo Hunter show. Remember, guys, he's supposed to come out with some content soon. I know Crystal will be pressing him like an iron. So, yeah, understand. So subscribe to his channel as well. Talawa TV, subscribe to her channel as well. And thanks for the support from Talawa TV. Here by Simone, big up yourself. I was there. Parade Gardens TV, big up yourself. PG Productions, big up yourself. 1601 TV, big up yourself. Mrs. Scott, the lady who was giving us pure troubles in the comment section, big up yourself. Grammar Zone, big up yourself. Bless up. Owen, big up yourself. So as I said, everybody in the comment section, big up yourself, guys. I'm going to remove and re-add my like. All right, big up yourself, Owen. I know you like the stream already, my boss. So big up yourself, man. Big up yourself as per usual. And remember, guys, also, I want to make big shout out to the Reggae Boys and Girls community. Reggae Boys and Girls Supporters Club as well. If you're not subscribed to that channel as yet, you subscribe, because as you know, Crystal is there, CC is there, the whole crew is there, Sports down the middle with T, everybody is there. Like, you have to understand that it's a whole family. Crystal is a movement, you know. Round Robin is a movement. It's a movement. It's a round Robin, streaming round Robin.
Listen, people don't know what he did with that one. That's a genius idea.
Yeah, man, that's a genius idea.
It's a
Pretty genius idea. So, as I said before, Owen, it look like you give one extra light, man, because it gone for 28. It look like you remove and re-add and it go to 28. But you say, you can't like it anymore. Yeah, but as I said, Crystal, massive thank you for your support and, just for jumping on and staying with us on the stream. Massive thank you to Chemo Hunter, who was here before earlier. And as I said before, people, there's multiple more streams to come. And one cocoa full basket. I saw them said, so you don't know how to do the thing. And so.
Hey.
I always say, Owen, CC and Genius, then come on, Owen. What are you trying to say? Listen, Owen, Genius, I just say we don't want to take down the serum. I told you already, we're solo leveling out here right now. If you don't know about solo leveling, Owen, you have to understand. I have the system right now. And we don't calculate already what we're going to do. You know, level up, level up, level up. You know, with each stream, we're leveling up. Yeah, well, big up yourself, people. Big up yourself. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching the stream, tuning in. Thank you for taking the time out in your busy schedule, Crystal. Big up everybody. And this is where I'm out.